Kenya is on a crisis of betting addiction. Let me say that once again. Kenya is on a crisis of betting addiction. We are having a lot of people who are betting. And this one is actually functioning, or this one is actually a red flag as a country. And I'm here to address some of the figures that were released. Are we together? On how many people are betting and how much are they betting and how much these companies are making in terms of a profit. And by the way, is it a good sign of any given country? By the way, I don't know which country you're watching me from, but let me know in the comment section. Do you have such a crisis when it comes to betting? And by the way, in Africa, we are number 3. That means there is number 1 and number 2. And I really hope these are not South Africa and Nigeria. But anyway, it is what it is. We are facing a crisis here. People are betting a lot. Or should I say, people are gambling a lot. Let's get on the business. In case you're watching me for the first time, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe, turn that notification bell whenever I upload a new good video. You'll be notified. Number 1, can you imagine this? Kenyans, they bet with 766 billion. 700 Kenya shilling. 766 billion. Do you know how much this is in terms of US dollars? This is approximately, let's say, 6.5 billion. Approximately 6.5 billion USD. Woo! Do you know how much this money can actually use? Do you know Donald Trump, when he got into the president in the US, he said he was looking for around 5 billion US dollars to build the wall. Remember the controversial wall, with the bordering with Mexico? They were actually needed less than this. They were actually needing around 500 billion. Well, Kenya, we did bet with more than 6.5 billion US dollars in the year 2024. And would you imagine if I tell you how much this money, or what do you think this can actually do? This is like more than 7 times of our meter expenditure. Yes, this money was actually meant. This is kind of close to how much we usually dedicate for the education. Because apparently in Kenya, education is the one that takes a lot of money when it comes to the budgeting and what have you. This is the amount of money that the Kenyans had used to bet. Over 766 billion. Sometimes, you wonder, even when Kenyans, they tell you they don't have the cash, you wonder where all this money is actually coming from. Now, the question is this. Do you know this is equivalent to 2 billion daily? Every day they bet with around 2 billion. I just want to share with you, I just want to share with you 2 billion cash Kenya shillings, 2 billion daily. Again, this is equivalent to around 200 million US dollars each and every day. I'm making, by the way, it's funny things that I'm making this video at around, let me check on my clock. It's around 8:18 a.m. Probably they have already started betting. Probably a couple of tens of millions have already gone when it comes to betting. And do you know how much this is in terms of an hour? This is equivalent to 24,000 per second. Since I started making this video, I'm only in my 2nd minute or 3rd minute. Can you imagine how many minutes are there? Can you imagine how many seconds are there? And imagine they're betting over 24,000 Kenyan shilling per second. You can just imagine, of a second, if a minute is made up of 60, you simply multiply this figure by 60 to see how much they are betting per second. That is money is going for gambling. That money is going for betting. Money is there. It's only that we do not have a system where we can educate. You see, listen, there's something called financial literacy. And I really hope if, say, government or whoever will be responsible to try to educate these people. If we are having this money in a year, let's say, oh my goodness, you guys give me the Minister of Finances, or maybe, I don't know, not really finances, or maybe a certain post whereby we can talk about the SMEs or something like that. If you're having this amount of money coming in each and every year, you have a system whereby, Kenyans can have a way of where this money is being invested, or money where is actually earning them interest. Then they can borrow from me and be able to, we can do a lot with this amount of money. Okay, I know I'm thinking out loud, but anyway, it is what it is. Betting will still be there anyway. But if you can educate people on how they can actually handle this money instead of whatever they are doing, it can actually be the very best compared to what you're having right now. Let me go ahead and still hit you with figures so that we talk about the crisis we are facing as a country. Now, on top of that, imagine this amount of money is way higher compared to that what the health sector gets. The health sector gets around 127 billion Kenyan shilling. We are doing more. Oh my goodness, you can just imagine how much that is in terms of money that is being bet. And of course, there are projections that this money will actually appreciate or go all the way. We are in 2025. These are the figures of 2024. You don't know what will happen in this 2025. I was actually watching some of the news out there, and I realized that you find some people were talking about a certain lady who was saying, hey, you know what, she lost all her business because of betting. I don't want to mention the companies and something of sort. I'm just gonna say, hey, you know what, she said that she got herself into the betting, and she did bet the money meant for her business, and the business went down, and you know what, she had no option, pack her bags, go back to their country and start all over again because of betting. And you know what? Even the developed nations, they usually have the gambling, the casinos, and what have you. I'm not saying that we scrap all these companies out there. I mean, they are investments, okay? People have invested. And this is the reason why I always tell you, whenever lies a human weakness, there is a lot of money to be made. And there is a saying that goes, in a nation where everyone is blind, the idle will always rule. So what happens? I don't think there is a problem with the regulation of the companies. I think there is more in the education of the people who are betting in the same. Back then, back when I was in university, that's when the betting started and gambling started. It wasn't there for like years. And I remember people or these companies were making crazy amount of money. And the government all of a sudden, they realized, you know what? I think we can cash a lot on these betting sites. And I think we can actually slap them with big regulations and, taxes and what have you, so that at least we can discourage them operating. I'm telling you, there was kind of a dry spell of betting companies. Then again, right now as you speak, there is a whole influx of very many companies doing on the same. Still, they're paying the taxes, they're paying their dues, they are regulated. For me, I don't see the problems with the companies. I see problems with people who are actually betting in an uncontrollable way. Are we together? So the moment you actually now, the reason why people are betting, of course, you guys are going to tell me on the comment section, hey, people are betting because Joseph, they don't have the money, they're betting to see whether they can actually make some coin here and there. That makes sense. Truly, that makes sense. But at the same time, who told you to assume that you are lucky such that when you bet, you'll actually make the cash? But you don't have the money, but the little you have, you bet and it's gone. The moment you bet with that little that you struggle to get and it's gone, you even get yourself more under, meaning you get yourself in a ditch, and instead of figuring out how you can actually get out of the ditch, you're still digging, and that's gonna get yourself into more problem or bigger problems. And I think it does not solve your problem. Listen, number one, you can never solve the financial problem using the betting. You can't. That's a fact. You cannot solve your financial problem by betting. And if indeed you can solve your financial problem by betting, or indeed if you can actually create wealth through betting and gambling, then why don't we have the wealthy people gambling and betting? Okay, I know what you're going to tell me, but they have the money, they don't want to bet. No, if there are people who want more money, are the people who are wealthy more than people who don't have the money. Are we together? So the point is, it's not really a reliable way of creating wealth. It's not really a reliable way you can say that indeed this is the best that I can use for me to make this money. So therefore, as a result, it is good to understand how this financial whatever functions, and they're not there to make you wealthy. By the way, we have this like automated bettings and what have you that you people are placing. And you guys are getting on my DMs. Hey, Joseph, I'm an addict of betting. How can I get myself? First of all, I don't offer those services in the first place. When it comes to advising people how to leave betting, that is more of a counselor's job, or I don't know, psychologist. Or I don't know. For me, I'm more much into the investments and such kind of a thing. So for me, honestly, I can't tell you, go bet, it is the surest way to go and win and make money. No, it is not. Someone may actually tell you it's true. Sometimes I tell people, you'd rather even get into the forex trading rather than actually gambling, because this is pure luck. Are we together? But when it comes to forex, at least you can analyze the market and do something. Again, I may not be able to advise you to get into both of those, either forex or, because if you do not have the skills, you're actually gonna lose a lot of money. So the point is, it is good to make sure that at least you understand the way these companies are actually framed, or sort of structured. They're not there to actually make you wealthy. For example, if I may read you some of the statistics here, they were saying, they are classified into 3 areas: how much money comes in, how much is they actually pay for their winnings, and how much is actually left for them in terms of a profit. So what happens is that money that came into these companies was around 766.5 billion Kenyan shillings, which I said is equivalent to around 6.5 billion US dollars. Then out of that, around 638 was actually paid for the winnings. 638 billion was actually paid out for their winnings. And then how much was left? Around 76 to 115 billion was actually left in those companies for them to do what? As a profit. Now, who is being in business? Now, well, I know you might say, oh my goodness, but at least 638 is a lot of money that was won. By who? At what frequency? Who won what? How many here have actually bet? Personally, I used to be a gambler. I was betting a lot, by the way, a lot. That's why I don't bet, because I had a very tough experience. And what happens is that you bet like 3 times, you lose. By the time you're betting the 10th time, you've won like 1 time. The amount you win for the 1 time out of the 10 that you bet is not equivalent to the amount of money that you have actually lost in terms of what? True, in between there are people who are lucky compared to those who are losing the cash. So the reality is, this thing is not really framed for you to actually win and something like that. I say, if you were to bet, of which I do not agree or I do not support, bet for fun, just for fun, maybe with your friends, having fun or relaxing, and be like, oh wow, I can actually bet that that particular thing will win and what have you, for fun. But you don't bet as a source of income. And I think that is where the problem is, because when you take it as a source of income, that is where now you're involved even your emergency fund, even the money that was meant for your future. And the moment you bet your future, can you imagine this? Money just gone. And the moment the money is gone, of course, if you have a family, the panic kicks in, the anxiety kicks in, and that is exactly how we have ourselves a problem. And if you ask me, I would say this is actually not a good sign as a country, because we are actually bringing and breeding people who are perceiving investments and money on a different perception, because we are actually breeding people who believe in creating wealth in the shortest period of time, getting wealthy quick, getting rich quick, and what have you. And that's why you find the Kenyans actually falling into scams. Recently, I made a video about why Kenyans and Nigerians lost a lot of money in a certain, quote unquote crypto, I don't know, company called, I don't know, CBEX or something like that. It is because of the returns that were promised. It is because of the signs of you becoming wealthy within a short period of time. That's why they were rushing into that particular thing. Because people don't want, first of all, apply, the time. They don't want to, groom their investment for the next 5 years, 10 years or something like that. They just want to get their cash that they have put in there the next, 1 or 2 months. They have doubled or tripled or 10x their cash. Then they become wealthy. Then they start doing what their celebrities, quote unquote, are doing, flossing and showing off with whatever they are having. You're being affected by refined information or refined videos, edited videos. Now you think that's the norm, and now that's why you get yourself into problems. Now, it's as a whole shenanigans that is going on, of which I would highly recommend that you be very careful so that you don't fall victim of these special things. Well, this is a clarion call. Surely I may say government should help people, but hey, when was the last time government was helping people? I would say it should be your responsibility. Sit down, figure out what is the best way to actually invest, rather than picking anything that you think it can actually work. Then you get yourself on crisis. Please, this is a crisis. This is an addiction that is going on in this nation, and I can see in future it can actually result to bigger problems. That's good, Joseph. Well, please don't call me with anything related to gambling. I don't give those services kindly, but anyway, be very careful. But if it's about investment, the legit one, reliable one, shoot me a call. Why not? See you there.